and welcome to Set the Stage episode 4. So if you're new here, my name is Vivian, and you should totally subscribe and join the Glitter Angel family. So here's where we talk about anything and everything. So for this episode, as you might have seen from previous one, I had my first guest, which was with Chris Milano, one of the trainers from Vasa Gym, my home gym. But this time I might as well make this episode happen. I feel that I've been putting it off to the side for quite a long time, but I might as well just share with you guys on little bits and pieces of my Asian Americanness. So without further ado, let's get started. First, bit of background info. So both parents are from Korea, which makes me a second-gen Korean American. They all speak English, and they understand Korean too. I felt that in the past I've gotten questions like, are you from Korea or are you from USA? And I've told them, no, I'm born and raised here in the US. My mom, like for her parents, they're from Korea, and so is my dad's side of the family, they're from Korea. So we'll get into some family bits a little bit later, so might as well do a quick background explanation. You might have seen a bit of what my parents look like, so it's a no-brainer that I'm full Korean. But at times I don't feel Korean at all, which I'll get into in a little bit as well. So here we are, pros and cons, Asian American. I'm going to start with the pros first, so you get to kind of see what I'm talking about, and if something seems confusing to you, please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to pause and just type in whatever question you have. Okay, so we're on to the first pro, and which is showcasing uniqueness of identity. So when I say that, I'm essentially saying that people right away may not tell, but there are some that might. It comes into a whole lot of embracing differences and imperfections that I have grown up with. Eventually, it has grown on me my whole life. So when I say embracing differences, I mean, it's like showing the uniqueness within me, both inside and out. And yeah, it is true that I do understand a little bit of my parents' language. There are a number of things that I love about being Asian American, is that it makes me stand out, which we'll get into in a little bit. And then finding community among those who also identify as Asian. That's a pretty good pro. So this comes to a personal fact that I might have said a bunch of times, but seriously, I'm taller than most Korean girls. It's true. And well, because of that, a lot of them tend to be 5'2" or just 5 feet, or not even 5 feet at all. Pretty fascinating. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, if I was born and raised in Korea, I would have probably been one of the shorter girls. But because I lived here all my life, it's like, oh yeah, I'm pretty taller than average. Yeah, most of them are like 5'2", 5'3", like we're pretty short. But if you're more like me, high five. And another thing about showing the uniqueness within myself, it would be encouraging people to think outside the box. So instead of thinking too much in general about Asian culture, I would suggest to keep doing your research, because at times it'll be helpful in ways on how you can show your support, and also the more experience you have with other Asian Americans, the better it is. It's done business. And then for the second pro, which is standing out, hey, here we are. So here's why. I feel fortunate enough to be able to pursue a path that I choose instead of being picked for me, because of what both parents of mine, what they went through is that during their generation, like their parents, which are my grandparents, they wanted them to pursue medicine or law, but they ended up not doing that. Both of them have quite a story about it. So, I mean, it's a pretty common Asian issue to bear with. It is true that the artistry does come in between both parents. The standing out factor does contribute to my reason, like my why. Well, when I say my why, as in my reason to why I've deserved to earn or achieve this goal, no matter how hard I have worked. Because like all my life at school and even throughout my college time, I felt that I had to work twice as hard to get to my dreams and everything. So it's like going above and beyond than what is expected of me. So I've gotten used to that. So, well, it's like a blessing and a curse, that sort of thing, which we might get into. And another thing with the standing out are the other skills that I carry. Sure, people do see me as a filmmaker or creator or even a vlogger, but I feel deep down there's so much me than just those things. There's another version of me that's into culinary and cooking. The cooking skills have run within my mom and throughout the family, and I was fortunate to learn how to do it at such a young age. And then another positive thing about my Asian American identity and experience is we speak a culture a lot. There are stories told that my grandparents have shared with me when I was a little girl, let's say. Yep, true story. And then we're gonna go to family combinations. So when I say that, I mean, so my maternal side is more American and my paternal side is more Korean. So we're like in between, well, pretty clear Korean American, since like my mom, she was born in Korea but moved to the US when she was a baby. And then her two siblings, two younger siblings, so they were born and raised in the US. For my aunt, she has two children, which they're my younger cousins. And then on my dad's side, so for his older sister, my dad's older sister, they have 3 children. I'm pretty sure they might have gone back and forth between Korea and the US. It gets a little confusing at first, but the more you hear about it, it's like, yeah, you'll learn. And also, with talking food-wise, let me tell you, Korean food, absolutely delicious. Delicious. You cannot deny that. You cannot even deny it. So, like, there are many Korean dishes for everyone to try. If you've not tried it, give it a try. So, yep, we're pretty much known for kimchi, I suppose. So here's where, speaking of food, I do love white people stuff, like fries, like French fries, sandwiches, like chicken tenders, cupcakes, ice cream, cookies, you name it. But I also have favorable Asian foods too, like udon, sushi, pho, banh mi, ramen. I even love other Asian foods that may not be Korean. Like, I love Japanese food, I love Vietnamese food. I'm a sucker for Asian food. I am legit not me without Asian food. Like, there has to be at least a bowl of noodles or at least some sushi. But if we're talking Korean food, there's a number of things I love to eat, which is it's been like a childhood favorite food since when I was a little girl. Like, I remember after traditional Korean dance practice, my grandma would take me out to a Korean restaurant for dinner, and then it's like our time to socialize, bond, and that was really nice. There's a lot of unique aspect into the Korean culture, like stories told by families, and food, and also the language. Learning Korean, it can take years to master. And let me tell you, as I grew, like, I started going to Korean school when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was up until 14, like up until end of 8th grade, that I was learning a lot of, like, our people, language, and, like, stories. And at the time, I'd be that kid that would just, like, be, like, so hesitant and scared, because I was in a room full of a bunch of other Korean kids. And I was like, what is happening? I mean, I try not to dig about those too much, but it taught me a whole lot. And speaking of Korean language, like, it is one of the, like, Korean can be hard to learn, but once you know the foundation, like the structures and also how the vowels and consonants are pronounced, then you could pick it up pretty fast. And if you were to go to Korea, I suggest you study a little bit beforehand. I mean, I guess that's why nowadays people like Korea, right? Hence the film K-pop Demon Hunters, the super popular one, the super popular film of this year, which hats off big time to Huntrix girls and the Korean representation that I've been craving for quite the longest time. Okay, so getting sidetracked here. We'll get on to the next pro. And another pro that I've happened to discover is adjustable to other Asian ethnicities, and here's what I mean by that. So again, the similar connections can apply through food and also the cultures. Like for example, like as I grew up, like throughout my school life, I was one of those Asian kids in a mostly white dominated society, like mostly of like Jewish kids. Not that it's a problem, but it was how I grew up. And being the only few Korean kids in a dominantly Jewish neighborhood. And let me tell you, it was like in middle school, it was a whole lot of bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah for my friends, like when we were teenagers. And those are definitely good times. Throughout school, it wasn't until I wasn't really exposed to a lot of other ethnicities until I came to DePauw in Indiana. Like, it was the first time in my life that I was seeing a lot of Vietnamese students, because growing up in Northbrook, there was not even one, not even another person who speaks Vietnamese or is identified as Vietnamese. And not just Asian kids, but also, like, I was not exposed to other races like Black, Hispanic, Latino, Hawaiian, not until DePauw came. So out of my years at school, I felt that DePauw was more ethnically experienced than in my years of elementary, middle, and high school. I mean, I guess it varies on the area. I mean, it all varies on where you live. Out of the conversations that I've spoken with a lot of Asian students, I would say that we're all very passionate in showing what we've got in our hearts, because like I knew what that felt like as a little girl. We're pretty much hardworking folks. That's not just a statement, it's a fact. We're pretty hardworking. The cool thing is that even our hard work and our work ethic might match, or even if it may not, it's like it's still possible to get along with other hardworking folks. And of course, development in friendships, because why not? So even though a lot of Asian kids can be on the quiet side and they're more introverted, it's still possible to become great friends with them. Like, they may not say a lot of words, but they'd like to be friends with you. Like, yeah. I mean, as I grew, I was pretty shy as a little girl. But then as I grew, it's like I went from this like super quiet girl to this someone who's out and about, just like that. I mean, it took a lot of years because I was also socially isolated. Now that I've discussed about showing some unique aspects that I've discovered for myself, and also as I'm speaking from perspective and also what I've experienced, it's like out of all those experiences, it all comes to a consensus that growing up with various representations of Asian culture has been important for me, as both as a person and a creator. Like, for example, as I grew up in school, being one of the few Asian kids in a Jewish setting, and then when I went to DePauw for college, it was this whole first time in my life that I've seen other kids from various countries or have different ethnicities. And even the classes that I took, that's when I started noticing how important it was for me in keeping those aspects in mind. So I got to learn more about my Korean culture, like not just like through Korean dance and like Korean school, but it's like, you know, you learn from experience, and that's how life goes. Okay, and now we get on to the cons. I've decided to switch camera angles because I don't know if you could really see what's on the slide, but yeah, so we'll get on to the cons. And when I say cons, I mean this is where discussions of racism and misconceptions come in. And here's what I mean. One of the cons that I remember experiencing when I was growing up, there were a number of times where people got me confused between Japanese and Chinese, not Korean. And they were so dumb. Well, when I say they, I mean like, it's just like random people. Like, there were moments where I was on a flight with my family, well, like at an airport, like with my family, and I don't know, there were just people that kind of looked at us strangely because like they thought we were Chinese because of like the way we look. And I know that's really stupid. And also the assumptions that come by random people. Like, example, I got sick and tired of random people just mistaking me for being Japanese or Chinese, not Korean. I got really sick of it. I'll say this a billion times. Japanese, Korean, and Chinese are not the same. They are not the same. So here's a little picture of the language differences. Like, it's pretty obvious that when you're distinguishing different Asian languages, you could tell by the text, like the way the letters are shaped. For Korean, for example, you probably see a lot of circles and straight lines. That's how you know that's Korean. Not every Asian language means the same thing, obviously. And that does apply to Chinese. Like, when I say Chinese, like there's Taiwanese, Cantonese, Mandarin. So again, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, they are not the same whatsoever. We go into another con that I've experienced, and I probably still know it as an adult. So one of the things is lack of feeling enough, and here's what I mean. There's this clash in my head that is like, oh, like, you're too American or not Korean enough. And those things are influenced by the food I've eaten, the environment I grew up in, even the conversations I've had. There's also different treatment that comes into play. Like, there are certain ways to interact with like traditional family members. Like, you can't talk to them like you can't really speak to them in like a hippie sort of manner. The hardest part with different treatment is like, it varies so much if I'm talking to my family or with my friends. So like switching or changes in vibe make it harder. So, and that's where masking can come in. So like when I'm talking in front of my family, I can't be acting all like super upbeat and crazy. I mean, not that they're encouraging me to not be myself, but at times it can get too much. Cause like not that I have a problem speaking with my family. Like, there's a number that are accepting that, yes, I speak like a little Korean. At least I understand better than speaking it. And another thing is feeling unstable mentally, and here's what I mean. So it's often like the us versus them, like constantly thinking about being the typical Asian or not, and which could also feel too much. It's pretty complicated. It could also cause self-hate or low self-esteem. I know what that felt like. Whatever racist interaction that I remember, it's like a trauma response. Well, it's like if it affected you as a kid, it's more likely going to affect you as an adult. Like, there are a number of factors that come into play, which we'll get into. And then we go on to pressures, which is another big con. And here's what I mean. The generational trauma continues to grow. Parents comparing their kids, Asian girls comparing themselves, what society expects, you name those things. And there's also the traditional versus not traditional. a number of traditional family members, they do want to keep certain traditions going, but at times they're not going to understand the changes. So they often have a hard time understanding of what's new to them. Like, for example, like LGBT topics and culture is taboo. It's considered taboo in most cases, which is also important to think about who's willing to understand those aspects. And it's usually our current generation will get it, but previous generations, not so much. Which is why I try to not dig too deep into those LGBT topics too much. Because my traditional family members may not get it, but I know my mom would, and so would probably my younger cousins, whoever. Another pressure that comes into play is being the very few ethnic group at a workplace, at school. It even applies to extracurriculars too, like activities, organizations, college majors, and so on. I mean, there are a number of clubs at DePauw that I've noticed where there are certain ethnic clubs, like DePauw China Connection, that's like a club for Chinese students, and there's Vietnamese Student Association, and there's a Korean DePauw Association. All those different student ethnic groups. And they are pretty open to those outside of their culture, because it's kind of like you're willing to explore or learn more about that, even if you're, let's say you may not be Korean on the outside, but you want to get to know more of the culture and you'd like to be friends with us. That is great. If you're able to make that happen, hats off to you. Great way to get some ethnic/racial experience topics going in your head. Keep trying different foods, keep learning different languages, all those things. I've often felt that as a Korean American, just doing okay is not acceptable. I was that girl who was so hardworking a lot. Still am. And I've often felt really bad for myself because I was really so serious in school. I mean, it's great that I care so much of good grades and everything, but on the flip side, it's oh yeah, I've sacrificed a lot of time and energy for not being around with friends so much and more time with studying. I was that super serious girl, but I try not to be super serious, otherwise I'd be dull. But you probably get the point. And then we go on to another con, which is code switching. Super big. There's often the whole conflict in my head where it's code switching between okay, for a white person, talking to a white person versus Asian person. It's also a survival skill, and I'm speaking that from personal point of view. So as I've said in Professor Menzel's communication class, when I got to speak it a little bit out of whatever we were discussing, I don't remember exactly. As I've said to him, both words and tone matter so much. Well, because here's why. It is so important to be careful of whatever comes out of your mouth. Because out of nowhere, you might say something that could really hurt them. Yeah, words and tone matter so much. And oftentimes, I have a tendency to act very serious in front of my family, but whenever I'm with friends, not so much. It's I could be loud and crazy in front of my friends, but in front of my family, I gotta sound more mature but still friendly and outgoing in a way. Something that's not too crazy hyper off the charts. For code switching, it's always okay, am I talking to a white person or an Asian person? Don't use too much slang in front of Asian kids. It just doesn't work. Well, it's little mental notes I keep in my mind, which is part of my code switching survival skill. Code switching is implied everywhere. In every single conversation that you have, as a woman of color. It's talking to talking to a white person or talking to an Asian person or Black, Hispanic, Latino, whatever. I mean, it's great to talk to different types of people, but there are certain ways on being careful with how you interact with other folks that are white. So, I mean, in front of my coach, like I don't have to censor myself too much, because like he and I are good friends. He may be he is half Italian, as mentioned, but we're great friends because we have got a number of connections that we have among ourselves, and even though they may not directly imply to our cultures. So like his culture is different from mine and mine is different from his, obviously. Like he's European, I'm Asian. I mean, no need to go further into that. Now that we discussed all the pros and cons of Asian American, so now we're going to answer some Asian girl tag questions. So this is not to offend anyone whatsoever. Also, so I am speaking from personal point of view and also sharing along with other fellow Asian women who are currently seeing this. If you could relate to what I've been through, that's awesome. We could be like sisters. We could be besties. Let's answer some questions. Favorite flavor of boba or bubble tea? Well, interesting, because I don't drink those a lot because of my dairy allergies. I would say my favorite one would be like the simple fruit tea with boba. I mean, I'm simple, guys. Like, what else could I say? I can't have the milk teas. Yeah, like anything fruity, I would say right now I'd be up for like a probably lychee or peach or mango flavor. Like anything tropical flavor. How often do you eat rice? Not every day. I do eat rice, like, I'd say every few weeks. I don't know exactly. I can't count. Do you wear glasses or contacts? How is your vision? Okay, I used to wear glasses in 3rd grade. Yeah, 3rd grade throughout, let's say, 3rd grade throughout senior year of high school. I stopped wearing glasses. By the age of 19, that was when I got LASIK surgery. So that was when it's like a vision correction surgery. That happened to me at 19, and since then I didn't have to wear glasses. I've got pretty good vision. Not like I'm super blind or anything. I mean, like, if I really had that bad of vision, I'd be like a Stevie Wonder. Okay, moving on. Do you wear shoes inside your house? Okay. Whenever people come to my house, we have a strict no shoes inside the house policy. Like in an Asian household, whenever we have guests or people over, we encourage them to take off their shoes before they step foot inside. It's polite that way. Are you a good driver? Oh yeah, super good at driving. Pretty good. I mean, I'm careful with how I navigate, and I'm not a distracted driver. Boom. Do I get good grades? I'll tell you, yes, I have gotten good grades. Again, that girl who was so hardworking and just, I think the whole, getting good grades, let me tell you. I don't know if it was like more of like a pleasing people thing, or was I pleasing myself? I think it was to show how accomplished I felt. I mean, at least that's what I learned, prior to graduation. Like, this whole getting grade thing, like, it's awesome to have good grades. It's like, but Viv, like, people have told me, like, you don't have to keep doing it for people. Like, do it for yourself. Like, they're not perfect, but they're good enough. Do you play a musical instrument? In 4th grade, I started doing violin, and then I quit after 5th grade. Like, it was like violin for a year, and then I did piano when I was 9 years old. Up until middle school, because I felt that I was not good enough for it. Let's not go back to those times, please. But when I got to 6th grade, I took singing much more serious, and then it wasn't until 7th grade that I got an actual voice teacher to help me. And singing, I did start choir when I was 9 in 4th grade. Yeah, it was like elementary school where I started getting into music, and then still throughout school I've been doing mostly singing. Guess that count as an instrument. Do you coupon? I guess you could say yes. I mean, it varies if there's like a deal or there's a sale at whatever my favorite location spot to shop at. Yes. Like that is when, I mean, sure, I use them. Whenever they're available, it's like, might as well use the rewards and whatever. Do you like K-pop or K-dramas? It's again, no-brainer. I'm a K-pop music lover. But I have watched a couple K-dramas before. So, noodles or rice? Noodles. Is your hair hard to curl? I would say yes and no. Well, yes, because, like if I let my hair air dry after I shower, yes, that can get wavy. But, but on the no, so like, even if I try to like spray it with hairspray, it's like still the curls have likely like decided my hair just wants to go back to straight. So yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer that I have quite the straight hair, you could already tell. At what age do you get mistaken for? Okay, I might have said this before on my channel in the past, but I remember when I went to Korea, like people got me confused with 18. Like they thought I was 18 years old when I was really 15. All because I had quite the highlight in my hair. I'm sure people are not gonna get me confused. Like, I mean, if they do, I'll just tell them, oh, I'm a college graduate, blah, blah, blah. I think I might have gotten mistaken for like 16 or maybe, I mean, when I was like a teenager, people might have thought I was 17 or 18 years old because of my hair. I mean, I've had to tell people that like, oh, I'm actually this age. What specific type of Asian are you? Oh, probably loud. Well, I don't know if that's a one-word answer, but type of Asian, I would say very funny, loud, sensitive, and smart. I don't know. Do you like sushi? Yes, I do. Can you speak the language? I think I can speak, I don't know how good at my Korean skills are. Let's see if I can speak my parents' language. Well, in this case, my grandparents' language. Oh god, I'm really scared. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 주아입니다. I mean, that was a simple introduction, what I just said. Well, because, like, my Korean name is Jua. Like, the only time I know it's okay to be called by my middle name, it's mostly family. Or other fellow Koreans. But yeah. Let me try again. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 주아입니다. 유튜브에서 내 비디오들을 보고 감사합니다. I think. Whitewashed Asian. Don't come at me, guys. I mean, I was trying to say thank you for watching my YouTube videos, something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time. I mean, I don't speak it like all the time, but I just understand it pretty well. Favorite Asian candies or snacks? Well, this may sound a little silly. I mean, there are a number that I avoid because, like, most of the time there's, like, milk in it. I don't know why. But I'd say my favorite candies would be, like, you know, when I went to Jungbu Market the other day, I would pick up some of the gummy candies. And it's not just, like, ordinary, like, gummy bears or anything. No, it's more like little gummy candies, like those round things in, like, little individual packets, like, inside another bag. And it's just, like, a really nice treat. It's, like, really chewy. It's, like, a gummy bear texture. Yeah, it's pretty good Asian candy. Haichus, I definitely like. Even the jelly snacks I also liked as a kid. Even the konjac jelly. I don't know. My taste in certain foods can be ridiculous. I've been more of a sweet tooth person, and I always will be. So, yep, that's pretty much the Asian tag for this. I guess that pretty much explains my whole Korean American background. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Set the Stage. I know this was probably a lot thrown at you, but I did my best to hopefully keep it short and simple in a way that makes it a little easy to understand. Growing up Asian American has been hard at times. I still love it because it's something that I've eventually gotten used to since I was a little girl. There might have been days where I felt that I was not Asian enough, but it's all right. After all, like, descendants of immigrants, even immigrant backgrounds, they make such a difference in our world. So remember, my dear immigrant friends, whether you came to the States for a reason or you came from your home country, you can pursue your dreams no matter where you're from. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Set the Stage. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment below what other topics you'd like me to discuss along with you guys. And again, if you have any questions regarding some parts of this episode that may seem confusing, don't hesitate to do so by typing them in the comments. I'm pretty much open to any question, really. Like, we'd be chatting of anything and everything still on my channel. So I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next vlog/episode. Have a great day. Bye, guys!